For every stock car racer, there's a short track to call home. There's a track that's a little closer to home than others, or one that's got an emotional tie because their family has raced there for years, even if they grew up somewhere else. And on Friday or Saturday nights, or even Sunday afternoons, that track becomes a second home, a place to gather with friends and family, and with time, fans and fellow racers. That's what makes tonight's visit to Stafford Motor Speedway so special. Of Connecticut's 3 paved ovals, Stafford and nearby Thompson Speedway have the deepest connection to the legacy of the Busch North Series. But only in the early 1990s did the flat half mile become a staple on the schedule. Connecticut, after all, is the hub of modified country, and for a spell, at least for some fans, you had a side. You were a modified fan or a fendered fan, but you had to pick a side. Stafford catered to both sides, with a single date for the big, heavy taxi cabs until 1997, when they earned a second stop on the schedule. When most of the series drivers came from New Hampshire and Maine, the Connecticut tracks were road trips. But for the Connecticut stars like Tom Bowles, Jerry Marquis, and Teddy Christopher, Stafford and Thompson were home. That sense of home hits hard in the NEP ranks. After all, Stafford is the home track of NEP co-founder Corey Casagrande. Corey and his brother Kyle grew up in Stafford Springs in the shadow of cousin Charles Lewandowski. Charles made history books as the first 16-year-old to win the late model feature at Stafford. A few years later, he fielded a family-owned entry in the limited Busch North Series schedule, stepping up to a full-time schedule for the 2006 season. Charles then moved down south and today operates ChaLew Performance, the title sponsor of tonight's race. Kyle and Corey followed in Charles' footsteps, with Kyle becoming the all-time win leader in Stafford's former Dare Stock division, while Corey picked up 12 feature wins of his own and the 2012 Limited Late Model Championship. But as some podcasters have said many times, cars are only a small part of the reason for short track racing. And Charles, Kyle, and Corey have made plenty of friends along the way. There's Mike Hopkins, multi-time Street Stocks feature winner. There's David Arute, who has feature wins in 3 different divisions while tending to his responsibilities in the track's main office. There's Dylan Kopeck, an 8-time winner in the SK Light Modifieds. Even 2 of this year's so-called rookie class are anything but, if you take their Stafford resumes into consideration. Michael Bennett was the 2015 late model champion, and Ryan Pasocco, who has Busch North Starter 2 on his record, has 6 late model rings in the trophy case. Suffice to say, if there was no Stafford Motor Speedway, there may not be an NEP. So while Stafford connects us to our roots in the Busch North Series for so many races in this league, tonight's race connects them directly to the love of the sport. Be part of the love with tonight's broadcast of the ChaLew Performance 75 with qualifying coverage beginning at 8:15 right here on Vidane TV. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Vidane TV. Thank you so much for having us in your homes here this evening, in your living rooms, bedrooms, wherever you may be watching us here for a Monday night edition of the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Series here for the ChaLew Fall Final 75 at the prestigious Stafford Motor Speedway. Now, there was no, unfortunately due to COVID, there was no actual fall final at Stafford Motor Speedway, so the guys at NEPS said, hey, you know what? We're going to have a virtual party here, and we're actually joined up in the booth here. We got about 10 minutes of practice left, so we got a little bit of time here before the race to kind of shoot the breeze just a little bit and maybe have a couple of ice-cold beverages before the race. It's a virtual race, so it's okay, and Vidane TV always wants to remind you to drink responsibly, no matter where you are. But I'm joined up here in the booth by my co-workers, Kevin England and Kyle Young. Kevin, first time here at Stafford Motor Speedway, the virtual version here for the NEPS series. How you feeling tonight, Kevin?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here. I've never been to Stafford, but I've seen a lot of races on TV and recognize some of the names here in the field, so I think we're going to get a good race in.
Absolutely, and Kyle Young kind of joining us a little bit late, stopping at that concession stand, getting one of those awesome pulled pork sandwiches that they got. You brought 2 of those, right, Kyle?
Sure. Let's go with that and hope that that's okay.
Well, we'll go with that. Maybe we'll get a quick caution here, and we'll send you back down. But, man, we're joined here by a lot of the drivers of the NEPS series. We're looking through, kind of looking around the room. We got the brothers Casagrande, Corey and Kyle are here. Dylan Kopeck is here. Jeff Brown, he's up here. And Matt Kenfield, he's here. And Zane Farrell in that pretty pink race car, as Kyle likes to call it. He's up here hanging out, too. And, man, Corey, I guess we'll start with you, man. This is kind of an opportunity just to go through and talk about some of the history of Stafford Speedway, the fall final race itself, and well, really, we can open it up to everybody. If anybody's got anything they want to kind of talk about with the fall final there at Stafford Speedway.
Yeah, I mean, first off, I just want to say thanks to you guys, and man, we got a ton of Stafford guys in the field tonight. If one of us don't win, I'm going to be pretty pissed. That needs to happen. It's not going to be Charles because he burns his tires up in 2 seconds. It's not going to be Kyle because I don't think he's finished the lap here in about 5 years. But
I've seen some pretty good Kyle moments.
But hopefully one of us can get it done.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny you mentioned that. You know, I think the first time I met you was at the track. It was a fall final weekend. And for some reason, I was following you and Dylan Kopeck around, and you were introducing yourself. Yeah, I'm Corey Casagrande. I got all these limited late model championships and all these wins. And I'm Dylan Kopeck. I got all these SK modified wins. And, there I am. Hi, I'm Paul. I got a top SK Light. That's right. My bad. And don't
give me that much award.
And then there I am kind of in the background. It's like, yeah, I got a top 10 and a Rent a Race Car dare stock. So that was pretty cool. But we do want to give a quick shout out to Rent a Race Car, thanking them for letting us kind of hijack their Facebook page. Anybody that's viewing this race here from Rent a Race Car's Facebook page, welcome to the simulation world. This is iRacing, pretty cool little deal here. Now Jeff Brown, he's up here too. Jeff, how's it going, man?
Not too bad. How are you guys tonight?
Oh, not too bad at all. Kind of working on these cold beverages that I found in the freezer down there, in the fridge down there. So I don't know who fit the bill for these. I guess the track was handing out some Twisted Teas last weekend, if I recall.
Just so you guys know, Jeff is our PR director for the NEP series. So all those good Facebook posts are of his doing. So I don't want to take the credit for that. So we gotta make sure we give him a shout out for it.
I think I shed a tear reading the one this week, bringing back all those memories.
In this room right now, Kyle is the most winningest driver at Stafford Motor Speedway. Unless we brought over Mike Bennett and Ryan Pisacco, I'm pretty sure they have more wins than him.
Leave them out of it.
Well, that was before, or no, that was after they changed the rule, though, where after you win, you had to add, what was it, you had to add 100 pounds to the car? Because I think Gary Spinato Sr. had the most wins for a little while, but that was back in the aughts, I think. That was when they were still racing horses.
Well, you got to remember, like Pisacco and Bennett, they've been racing at Stafford for like 20-something years. Kyle did it in a span of, what, 4 or 5 maybe?
It's true, but I don't think Cascade Motorsports has had a win in about 10 years here, so maybe we'll get one tonight here.
2013.
Yeah, sorry. Who won that? Was it me or you?
That was me. Thanks.
Well,
DQ'd from a race in Monadnock, if that counts. I kept the trophy, so.
Zane's in up here, too. Looks like he's still kind of concentrating. He might be racing, talking to us from the in-car, doing a little bit of last-minute practice here. Man, Zane, I'll ask you first, because I know Lacey's one of our most popular supporters. She's watching all of our races and stuff. And, well, you guys have the Better Half Dash 2 next Wednesday here on Vidane TV. I'm going to open it up to you guys. Who's going to win that race next week?
I'm pulling for Matt Kenfield's wife again. She torched him last time.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. She is fired up, ready to rip on Wednesday. And, Paul, I got to say that you guys kept mentioning that you thought it was me driving for her, so she's still fired up about that. She's like, no, I'm going to win and shut those dudes up, show the girls really can drive, so be ready for that.
Absolutely. And as we're looking around the room, speaking of winning, the champ is here. John Peters, Season 1 champ, comes up to the broadcast booth. John, how's it going, man?
It's going pretty well, guys. Feels good to be racing on a Monday here.
I wanted to bring John in here because me and Kyle were talking about this. Is there any truth to the rumor that you're scared of half-mile tracks?
I can't confirm. I know we're just speculating here, but I can't confirm that. I don't believe I've ever said that nor indicated that, but I guess we'll find out.
We'll get the fact checkers on it.
How many starts in real life do you have on half miles or bigger tracks?
Probably less than 1. Yep.
So, I mean, is there really any need to fact check any further?
You know, that's a question of intention. Now, it's not because I'm scared of them. It's probably never had the opportunity.
The Speedway this weekend. We'll see you there. John Peters just announced that he was going to race Thompson.
Oh, sweet. You're going to fly me up? For Corey.
We'll take that as a solid maybe.
If Corey ponies up for the American Airlines flight, then I'll consider it. But I'm just going to need to relay that information to the crew chief real fast.
Shout out Greg Peters.
Shout out Greg.
Oh, we kid because we care here at Vidane TV. Having a little bit of fun here with the drivers in the NEPS series. Getting ready for the ChaLew Fall Final here at Stafford Motor Speedway. Don't really need to tell you that it's the virtual version because, well, it is a video game. But, man, we're having a blast already. We've got about a minute and a half of warm-up here. These guys are going to be getting ready to qualify their cars. Man, I just want to open it up one more time. Any of you guys have any last-minute thoughts before we get rocking here at the half mile?
Like I said, it's just better be a Stafford guy that wins tonight.
Yeah, Peters better be careful when he's lapping us. That's all I'm going to say.
Nice.
Thanks to all you guys at Vidane for doing all this deal. I got people all over the country watching these races. It's really cool that we're able to do that.
Yeah, thanks, Vidane. Appreciate the hard work. I'm just going to try to block out everything that Corey and Kyle have been saying and just go have a good night.
Well, the 51 car can't hear us because he's too busy blocking out the haters, apparently.
Well said.
Crickets. Awesome. All right, we'll let you guys get back down to your cars. Thanks for joining us up here in the booth. Got about a half a minute left here in practice, and we're going to be doing some racing here. We got a couple laps. We got 2 laps of qualifying for each driver, and then it's green flag racing from the Steel Cage racetrack. What is it? Steel Cage Racing, as they call it, from Stafford Motor Speedway. 75 laps for the ChaLew Fall Final.
How about that, Paul? You get to just chit chat with these guys before they go out. They have easy breezy attitudes about this, and but it's a sim, but it's fun. This is a great entertaining thing to do on a Monday night.
Yeah, and it's really cool too doing the Vidane TV, the sim racing broadcast and stuff like that. Because the last time I went to the racetrack, the actual Stafford Motor Speedway, I wore a Vidane TV T-shirt, and Kyle, yours is in the mail, as is Wes's. I'm sure he's watching too. But
we know that.
But it was pretty cool to walk into the front gates and say, "Hey, Vidane TV!" So it's pretty cool that I met probably the better part of 3/4 of this field here with the NEPS, the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Series. Great group of guys. They always put on a fantastic show. And everybody out there viewing there in Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Like I said, we're on YouTube. Check us out, Vidane TV. Be sure to subscribe. It helps us out a lot. On Facebook, hit the share button. Let your friends know. And you're watching a little bit of virtual racing here tonight for the virtual fall final here at Stafford Motor Speedway. And big shout out to Rent a Race Car here tonight, letting us use the Facebook page to kind of get the word out and stream our broadcast over to that page as well. And man, it's also a big time shout out to Shift Marketing and Design, as they are the sponsors, the series sponsor for these guys. Season 2, man, you just heard John Peters. He was the champ for season number 1. He's got a strong car here tonight. And Corey Casagrande and his brother Kyle, they want a Stafford guy to win tonight. So I'd say probably 50-50 with the Stafford guys winning here this evening. But I'm going to take myself down to the production trailer, make sure we get all the good camera shots and all that good stuff. And I'm going to leave it to you guys up here, Kevin and Kyle. You guys have yourselves a great race.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Paul. And Kyle, looking at the field, good field of cars here tonight, 28 cars. Everybody's running, done with their practice. It looks like Ryan Libby up front and John Peters right behind him. They're out in qualifying right now. We'll see how they translate that to the qualifying speeds.
Everybody currently getting their qualifying runs in. We have 23 of the 28 cars that have taken time thus far. Still a good portion of time left to go here in qualifying, but as you mentioned, Ryan Libby, he is backing up his fast lap in practice, and he is currently on the pole. He actually went faster with his qualifying lap, a 19.655, than he did in practice, so he's just about half a tenth faster with that qualifying lap. Michael Bennett currently sitting on the outside pole with a 19.813. Corey Casagrande, one of the Stafford guys, 19.833. He's actually tied with Devin Marhefka, both of them with 19.833 lap times. So they will currently make up row number 2. And then Lucas Labani is completing your top 5 at a 19.840. So insanely close lap times looking through this entire field. We have the top 19 guys within the 20-second bracket, and even the guys that are outside the 20-second bracket, not too far out, a couple 20.0s, a 20.1, and then the slower guys at the back of the pack still in the lower half of the 20-second bracket. So very competitive times that we're seeing so far here in qualifying, which really shouldn't be much of a surprise knowing the competition level here within this New England, Pennsylvania group.
Yeah, you could go from the top of the stack to the bottom of the stack and probably only get 3/4 of a second difference, with hundreds and thousands separating them at some point.
Truly is remarkable to see how close that these times are. And looking at the point standings heading into tonight's event, of course, we're only 2 races in. It's been a week and a half since we've gone racing with the New England, Pennsylvania Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series, but we're here for race number 3. As mentioned, defending points champion John Peters. He found success the last time out at the Phoenix International Raceway, got his first win of the season, and that victory was able to propel him to the points lead. He sits at the top with 56 points. Your second place in points is Devin Marhefka. He's just 2 points behind at 54 points. Ryan Libby completing the podium in the point standings at 52 points. And then we have a tie for the 4th position between Brandon Newhouse and Dylan Kopech. Each of them have 50 points. So, of course, with things still being very fresh, points battles are very tight, and these guys going to have a very, very exhilarating race to deal with. As we said, 28 cars in this server. It's a half-mile racetrack for 75 laps. These ARCA cars, they're a little bit big, they're a little bit blocky, they're going to take up a lot of space on this racetrack. I think we're going to be in for a really exciting show, Kevin.
Yeah, it's a narrow track. 42 feet is the width on the straightaways, 51 foot in the turns, and just a slight amount of banking, which means they're going to be hugging that bottom line. They're going to be trying to protect their groove, and it should not be a surprise if some of them start to use the bumper to try and move their way forward.
No, not at all. These ARCA cars, very well built for a little bit of contact, a little bit of beating and banging. Saw some guys throughout the practice session there. They were kind of testing the boundaries, leaning up against each other, seeing what they could get away with, seeing what they couldn't get away with. So hopefully they got all that figured out, and we can see ourselves a very, very competitive race here tonight, the third race of the season for the New England, Pennsylvania Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series.
As you watch the drivers run this track, they're obviously wide open down the straightaway and then hard on the brakes, turning the car in. But it's really about driving through the center and off of the corners to try and get as much straightaway speed as possible. You need to get yourself alongside, inside the driver to try and take away that line into the entry to make the pass. And as you said, I think there's going to be a lot of close contact here tonight.
Without a doubt, with this being a flat racetrack, it's very difficult to get that outside groove working on a track of this configuration. So the fight for the bottom is going to be extremely important. The apron, you're going to see the apron used quite a bit here tonight. The apron down just below the racing surface is fairly wide, fairly usable for these drivers, but the kicker to that is that apron is very slippery. It's very easy to get on the gas too soon, too fast, spin those rear tires up and get yourself sideways, if not spin yourself around coming off these turns. So the fight for the bottom going to be very important, but it's also going to be to keep yourself in control, because if you do decide to use that apron, you could just barely step over that boundary and find yourself in trouble.
Yeah, these drivers know the little tips and tricks to try and get themselves speed at every inch of this racetrack. You go down in the corner, and like we said, hard on the brakes. You're at full acceleration through the corner, and it means a lot of tire wear. You don't have to worry about fuel load, but you definitely got to take care of your tires.
Indeed, they will. Qualifying has been completed. We are now getting the car set on the grid for tonight's ChaLew Fall Final at Stafford Motor Speedway. Here's how we will line them up. We'll get through as many of them as we can before we get to green flag racing. Your pole sitter, the top five stayed the same from what we had mentioned. Ryan Libby will start this one on the pole. He drives the number 46 machine. He's got the 2000 Todd Bodine NASCAR Busch Series throwback on that. One of the locals out of Plainville, Connecticut. He will be on the pole, and the outside pole sitter driver of the number 64 machine. He has got the 1998 Dick Trickle NASCAR Busch Series throwback on it from Wellington, Connecticut. That is Michael Bennett. Inside of row number 2, starting third, driving the number 52 machine, he has the 1987 Bruce Haley NASCAR Busch North Series throwback on it from Stafford, Connecticut. Corey Casagrande and his dancing partner on the outside driving the number 22 machine. He's got a 2005 Robbie Marhefka throwback on it from Windber, Pennsylvania, Devin Marhefka. Completing your top 5, driving car number 47. He's out of Litchfield, New Hampshire, driving the 2001 Kelly Moore NASCAR Busch North Series throwback. That is Lucas Labani. And starting in position number 6, driving car number 15, he has the 1997 Jerry Marquis NASCAR Busch North Series throwback on it from Muskegon, Michigan. I hope I said that better this week. That is Kenny Kibbe. Inside of row number 4, starting in position number 7, he drives the number 49 machine out of Ruppsdale, Pennsylvania, driving the 1992 Ed Ferry NASCAR Busch North Series throwback. That is Zane Farrell, and the defending series champion, last winner in the series, driving the number 51, 1999 Mike Stefanik NASCAR Busch North Series throwback from Westbrook, Maine. That is John Peters. Completing your top 10 on the inside of row number 5, he starts 9th. He will drive the number 61 machine. He's got a 1990s Mike Olson NASCAR Busch North Series throwback on that car. He's from Greensburg, Pennsylvania. That is Brandon Uhouse. And completing that top 10 in car number 7, he drives the 1996 Dale Shaw NASCAR Busch North Series throwback from Stafford Springs, Connecticut, Kyle Casagrande.
See the rest of the field scrolling by as the driver's rolling down the backstretch behind the pace truck, getting ready to get this race underway. 75 laps is the distance. Driver's going to move back and forth, scrubbing those tires in, trying to get some heat in the tire before they launch out of turn number 4 for the start. As they come down the front stretch, butterflies are high at this point, Kyle. Everybody wants to get a clean start, see what kind of mount they have underneath them. They ran a lot of practice, and to your point, some of them were trying to test those boundaries, but now you got to be careful. You got to take care of the car on the outside, the car in front of you, the car in the back, and you got to make sure you can get yourself a clean start and then try to work your way forward.
You're absolutely right, Kevin. No more test time. It is go time. The pace truck ducks down out of the safety of pit road, leaves the field in control by pole sitter Ryan Libby. The field works their way through turns 3 and 4. The green flag goes in the air, and we are racing for the ChaLew Performance Fall Final 75 here at Stafford Motor Speedway. Down into turns 1 and 2 they go for the first time. Ryan Libby will jump himself out to the early race lead. Corey Casagrande goes side by side with outside pole sitter Michael Bennett for position number 2. Clean and green throughout the whole field here on the first lap. Ryan Libby will complete it out at the front.
Libby's able to break away a little bit with John Peters and Evan Ballou second and third right now. Everybody just settling in. Is a good run off of the corner by Ryan Libby. They're single file through the first couple, but side by side for fourth right now.
Battle going to be won by the 15 of Kenny Kibbe. He gets around Michael Bennett for that spot, so a rough start for Bennett off the get-go here. He goes from 2nd to 5th, but now finds himself in line. John Peters trying to work that outside line just behind Bennett and is able to do so. He will take over the position from the 47 of Lucas Labani, so he now rides in position number 6 as the top 10 going to go single file here. For the moment, a little bit of side-by-side going on just outside of that. Kyle Casagrande and Evan Bollier. Bollier trying to get to the inside going into 1, but is unable to do so.
So we're about a lap or so back. Somebody got sideways out of turn number 4, down through the grass a little bit. You could see the slide marks, but they were able to gather it up. Little smoke as they came through, but they were able to keep it going, and we remained green. Lap 5 of 75 in the books.
First caution flag does indeed fly, actually, as lap number 5 goes on the board here. Got the 13 machine of Brandon Marhefka with some front-end damage. Not sure if anybody else is involved. Yeah, we got a couple more cars involved there. Well, Paul, we get to bring you in for the first time at your home track for some replay analysis. Take us through that one.
Always cool to work at your hometown track. Not technically my hometown, but definitely my home track. First local track I've ever actually been to. First track I actually got to race at thanks to Rent a Race Car. You should definitely check them out. They're actually going to be bringing us the replay here, and we're going to take a look at the number 13 car. As I made mention, the Marhefka machine. And you can see just heading on down, it looks like the 31 may have come up as the 13 came down, kind of fighting over that same piece of real estate. And just nowhere really for the go, especially for the 81 car. It gets caught up in that. Big damage on that. And it looks like the 44 gets sent around as well. Scott McDonald. Let's take a look. See if we can just back that up just a little bit. And you'll see the 44 car. Looks like he might have... you see the 76 car kind of checks up. Nowhere for the 44 to go. The 21 kind of gets into the back of him. Big damage for the 21, the 14, the 44 as well. So I don't believe these guys have a reset. So these guys are going to run down pit road, try and get these cars... get the virtual hammers banging on that sheet metal and see if they can't come back out and run a couple more laps.
It really looks like the start of that was the car trying to drive to that outside hole and just was not clear on the outside, pulled up and got quarter paneled, turned hard into the outside wall, and it was on from there. So they're going to set up behind the pace truck, 8 laps of 75 in. Libby, Peters, Bulow, Farrell, and Marhefka. Devin Marhefka is your top 5 right now. Drivers going to scrub those tires in, keep them warm, keep them set. And Kyle, this racetrack, these laps click up really quickly. 8 laps already passed. We get to the quarter mark very quickly here. It's 18 laps, so only 10 laps from quarter way through the race. These lap times are 19 seconds, so we're going to click them off really quickly here tonight.
We will if we can get these long green flag runs in. They'll be running about 3 laps a minute, so at a 75-lap race, you divide that up into 3. Of course, we are under caution right now, but a 25, 30, 35-minute race is all that these guys are looking at. So patience is going to be important. You're going to want to be intelligent working your way through the field if you're marred back in traffic. But you can't be too patient because 75 laps is not a lot of time on a short track where you're only running 19 or 20-second lap times at the absolute worst. So it will be fun to see if any of those guys in the back start to work their way up towards the front. So far, nothing too crazy just yet. Only a few guys that have moved up a handful of positions. No big movers at the moment, but still plenty of racing to go. Looks like we're going to go green this time by. Field is doubled up, so we will have 65 to go once that green flag flies.
Typical short track dynamic, everybody in a small space trying to hunt. And if you have a lot of cautions, you're going to be running under caution laps, which means you don't have a lot of time to pass. Drivers are going to lose their patience. Pace truck in, rounding turn 3, heading out turn number 4. Field under control for Ryan Libby and John Peters. Green flag out, and boy, I tell you, Livy got a good start once again. They're side by side in 2, coming off to the backstretch.
Libby with a great start. Greg Casagrande did not. He stacked up that outside line just a little bit, a few cars back. He's side by side with Devin Marhefka for position number 2. Kenny Kibbe was the beneficiary of that stack up. He was able to find a hole down on the bottom of the racetrack and dropped in line. He will now fall back behind Corey Casagrande, who loses that battle for second with Devin Marhefka. Ryan Libby almost half a second already ahead of Marhefka. Single file throughout the top 10 quickly off this restart.
There was one car off in the grass, able to get it going. Not sure if they took evasive action, but we remain green as you're on board with the 52 of Corey Casagrande. You see him drives hard in the corner, going to come down off of turn number 2, try to squeeze as much space out to that backstretch wall, and just floats the car in. It's all about feel, trying to get the car through the corner here and off to the straightaway.
You just mentioned there, Kevin, trying to extend the racetrack as far as you can and get as much momentum coming off these turns as possible. That outside wall will catch up on you very quickly here at Stafford Motor Speedway, so these guys are going to have that as a variable to deal with as well. So far, everybody looking pretty clean and green, starting to settle in, get into a rhythm, start to feel out what their cars are doing here in the early stages of this race. But if you look ahead just a little bit ahead of race leader Ryan Libby, already some of the lap traffic starting to loop around to the back end of the field. If this thing stays green, I can see us getting into lap traffic here probably in about 10 laps.
Yeah, it looks like settled into conveyor belt. Everybody's about 1 to 2 car lengths between them and the car behind them, running around. This is where you let the car take a set. They say the car is a little bit slick the first couple laps. The tires come in about lap number 5, and then they start to go away. And we're going to see comers and goers, and we'll start to see some drivers move forward and some drivers slip back.
A little bit of side-by-side action going on for position number 14 with the 74 car of Ryan Pasoko and the 26 of Brent Roy. Roy just sacrificing that position over to Pasoko, so Pasoko moving himself up a spot. He's looking pretty good so far here, Kevin. Up 10 positions since the start of this race. So I just mentioned before we went green that we haven't really had too many big movers as of yet. Ryan Pasoko putting me in my place. He's up 10 spots here within the first 17 laps.
Yeah, you're looking at the Finalube number 74, made famous by Randy LaJoie back in 1997. The joy of seating. Randy went on to be a prominent feature in racing, and it is cool to see that car back on the track.
One of the biggest things with this series that these guys thrive on are their throwback paint schemes. So a great nod there to Randy LaJoie. Everybody here running a throwback paint scheme. We try to give you as much information about those schemes as we can throughout the night. And it's good to see the Randy LaJoie car being so successful thus far here in the opening stages of this event. Currently running on lap number 20, just about getting to the 1/3 mark in tonight's ChaLew Performance Fall Final 75 at the Stafford Motor Speedway. It is still Ryan Libby who is leading this one. He's extended his lead now to almost a full second over the number 22 machine of Devin Marhefka. Marhefka's got about half a second back to Corey Casagrande. He took that spot away off the restart, and Casagrande with a bit of space back to Kenny Kibbe in position number 4. As these laps continue to tick away, that lap traffic starting to reel in ever so closely to race leader Ryan Libby. Should be getting there here very soon. It'll be fun to see what Libby can do and how he can navigate through this slower traffic.
I'm surprised to see John Peters in the Burnham Boilers paint scheme, made famous by Mike Stefanik. just kind of riding back there. Dropped back, didn't get a good start, but want to see whether he's going to come forward or not. He's got a lot of pressure out the back window as he's looking at the 64 closing in. And he has a lot of space. You know, when you become preoccupied, Kyle, with looking out the back to see where that guy is, make sure he's not sticking a nose underneath, when you really want to just look out the windshield and hit your marks and run as hard as you can.
It's a great point, Kevin. John up 3 positions at the moment. Michael Bennett was the outside pole sitter, so he was able to start ahead of John Peters at the beginning of this race, but has since slipped behind. So John's probably got that in the back of his head. He knows that Michael Bennett put up a better time than him. He may be faster at the moment, but over these last couple laps, just ever so slightly, John is starting to put a little bit of space in between himself and the 64 car rather. And now it actually looks like a few cars up ahead. Looks like that lap traffic has been caught by the leaders. The first one staying right down on the apron, and the caution flag comes out for the second time here. Not exactly sure what has happened just yet. Looks like we've got a couple cars in the infield grass in turn number 1. The 13 of Brandon Marhefka involved once again, and also the 7 machine of Kyle Casagrande facing the wrong way here to bring out caution flag number 2.
This will bring the field back together as we get a peek at what the problem was. And it just looks like 2 cars contact mid-straightaway. Very strange to make contact in the straightaway itself, but sometimes you're trying to get up high to get that good entry into the corner, and you just come together with another car.
Yeah, taking a look at the ChaLew Performance instant replay right now. We're going to look at the number 7 car, Kyle Casagrande. Actually looks like the 44 car just scrubbed the wall. We'll back that up one more time here. You can see he kind of scrubs the wall just a little bit coming out of the corner and just gets into the back corner of the 7, gets him around. 61 gets by, 81 gets by. 13, man, oh man, hard hit. Nowhere for Marhefka to go. Unfortunately, he was already 2 laps down, it looked like. So tough break for the 13 car. You see a couple of cars, a couple of those lap cars there. You see Libby and the leaders starting to get by as well. So tough break for Kyle Casagrande. That number 7 Skull Machine looks like his night's probably going to end prematurely. So we're going to end up probably having a couple of cold adult beverages down to there probably out in the parking lot here at Stafford Motor Speedway, as we usually do here for the fall final. But just want to give a shout out to everybody that's watching on Facebook. We've got the Vidane TV Facebook page, the Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series Facebook page, as well as the Rent a Race Car Facebook page. We're streaming to those guys tonight. Thank you so much for allowing us to do that, Gary and Paul and everybody with the team. And anybody else that's watching, Facebook usually does a little bit of kind of a wonky thing with our quality, or with our stream quality, but it's always good to be able to chat with everybody. If you want to check out a little bit higher quality, if you've got maybe a smart TV or something like that, check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Twitch TV. It's twitch.tv/Vidane Racing TV, and you can also search for Vidane TV on YouTube, and you'll get a much better quality stream. Still kind of working the kinks out here on the Facebook stream, but it's always good to be able to chat and discuss the race with our fans and followers. So definitely do that, and always join the discussion. As you can see at the top left of your screen, hashtag Vidane TV.
We were promoting it a little bit in our last event there at Phoenix International Raceway a week and a half ago. If you got some type of viewing party going on, make sure to upload it to social media. Use the hashtag so we can see it. We know we've got our usual cast of characters hanging out watching this one. Ryan Ratcliffe is in here. Lacey Brunel is in here. Gail Peters, Greg Peters, Herb Thomas, Cindy Casagrande, Chris Marhefka, Patty Ryder. Thank you guys all so much for hanging out and watching the ChaLew Performance Fall Final 75 with us here this evening. Field is doubled up. We're going to go green flag this time by. Lap number 30 will go on the board, so we'll have 30 down, 45 left to go. It is still Ryan Libby. He's ran a flawless race thus far. Devin Marhefka now joins him on the front row for this one. Green flag is out. Everybody off to a great start. Devin Marhefka stays to the outside going into turn number 1, but that bottom line is going to prevail. Ryan Libby will clear. Now Kenny Kibbe looks to the inside of the 22 going down the backstretch. The caution flag flies and will halt that run.
Yeah, a couple cars got accordion and got together there on the inside of turn number 2. The 09 Dylan Kopek involved in that one. He gets that car righted and is heading back in the right direction. And Libby had got himself out to a pretty decent lead and got a good restart, but they were side by side for second, but they're going to call the brakes to that, as it looks like maybe a single car incident with the 09. We'll check and see what the replay shows us and what happened over there in turn number 2.
The instant replay, Vidane TV instant replay, brought to you by ChaLew Performance. We're going to take a look. We're going to focus on the 09 Dylan Kopech. We talked to him earlier, kind of hanging out with the pre-race. It looks like there's a bit of a stack up on the inside line. You can see, looks like the 56 checks up a bit, and it checks the 74, and it checks the 6. They kind of get bumper to bumper to bumper, and it sends the 56 up a little bit, shoots him on up into the 09 of Dylan Kopech. Doesn't look like there's big time. You see the 21 gets around. That's the another couple of cars. A little bit of tearing up the grass just a little bit, messing with the landscaping just a little bit, but no big-time damage with the race cars, so that's good news there. Everybody seems to grab a gear and get on going, so they'll be able to finish out this race, no fuss, no muss. Pretty cool to be able to see that. Ryan Libby still up front as your leader.
Yeah, it looks like Kyle, he was writing his initials, DC, in the grass over
there. Leaving his mark here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Didn't really look like there was too much damage throughout that incident, so everybody should be A-okay to continue on. Just saw the number 81 machine of DJ Gerard go around the field, so I take it he is the recipient of the free pass award, so he'll get himself back on the lead lap. He was caught up in that first incident, lost a lap, and has now gotten back onto the lead lap, so that'll put 25 cars on the lead lap. We started 27 of them tonight. Looks like the only one that is out is the 13 machine of Brandon Marhefke. He was caught up in the first 2 incidents there. Of course, under caution number 3 right now, so he burned up his fast repair early, and that number 13 machine looking pretty rough. But fortunately, the only car that is not on the racetrack, still 26 of the 27 out there and 25 of them on the lead lap.
Under caution, lap 35 of 75. I'll let you know this race is brought to you by ChaLew. They're racers, working with racers. They understand tight budgets, late nights, skin knuckles, and grueling schedule of a racing season. Whether you're a big-time team or a local racer, the employees at ChaLew Performance will provide you a highly skilled and personalized experience. And they keep in mind your racing budget. ChaLew Performance, you can find them at Facebook. Visit them on the web at chalew.com. That's ChaLew.com. ChaLew Performance. Check them out today.
Field is once again double file. We're going to give this another go at the completion of lap number 36. It looks like the only positions that have kind of changed throughout the top 5 there. John Peters got himself up to 4th, Michael Bennett to 5th. So besides that, everybody else pretty much still in the same boat they were in coming into the previous restart. We'll see what happens this time. Pace truck is off. Ryan Libby leading them down to the front straightaway. Green flag flies, and we're back underway with the ChaLew Performance Fall Final 75. Devin Marhefke hanging to the outside once again, going into turn number 1, but the bottom side prevails yet another time, and Kenny Kibbe, just like he did on the previous one, gets to the inside of the 22 of Devin Marhefke to challenge for that second spot. Kibbe door-to-door with the 22 through 3 and 4. He now has the advantage coming off of 4. He's got the spot at the line, but can't quite clear yet going into 1.
Nose out in front in turn number 1. He's going to complete the pass. The 51 is going to follow him through. They both play the same book. When Livy was able to break out and hold that outside line, they were opening the inside line, and 2 cars squirting through. Here comes John Peters. We knew he was going to make the charge. He's looking at the opportunity now. Lap 39 of 75, and he slides up underneath and takes the position on the backstretch.
Michael Bennett was trying to get underneath the 22 of Marhefke to keep the train going, but Marhefke found just enough space to slide in line and keep him at bay, but that's not stopping Bennett from taking a peek. He's into the outside wall, going down the front straightaway, gets glued to it, and that's going to open up the bottom for Zane Farrell in the 49. Farrell gets on by, and now here comes the 96 of Wyatt Alexander. The 64 of Bennett able to get off the wall and get his momentum back to fight with Alexander for this position, but Wyatt is there. He's got the preferred line. He's got it nose ahead coming off at turn number 4. He'll have the spot at the line. Trouble in the back. We got 1 car down to the infield in turn number 4. No caution as of yet. Now it comes out.
Yeah, the 76 is pulling away from the scene there. 2 cars came together, and when they get stopped, the yellow's got to come out. I'll tell you what, the 64 was up against the outside, possibly in the marbles, trying to keep the car down into whatever groove he could get, trying to stop the bleeding, and was able to get it sorted out. As we come back to the replay here, watching what happens. tight action in all the corners all the way through. We see just a accordion one more time, little bump. They rolled off of turn number 2. And the same bump turn to 76. And I think it's pretty self-evident what's going on there.
Yeah, it just looks like a couple of guys trying to get up off of the throttle there to avoid any kind of wreckage, and just a couple of cars down there on the apron. You can see we're going to focus in on the 76 car, the 47 car as well, that Napa machine up high. They looked like they barely touched just a bit, and you can see the 31 Budweiser car. He checks up, the 76 big check up, 31 into the back of him. 78, nowhere really to go, 14, and you see Dylan Kopech involved just a little bit. But again, no big damage. Couple of spun around race cars, probably stop for some tires, and maybe go down there and with a couple of rakes and fix that grass down there. I'm sure the Stafford's landscaper's not all too thrilled with these guys tearing up the lawn down there, but geez. But man, looks like everybody's going to be able to, again, grab a gear, get on going.
Yeah, Kyle, you get in that situation where you get yourself a little disheveled, go in the corner, you lose your rhythm, you go down in the next corner. It looked like he was trying to do his best not to push up, maybe checked up a little more than everybody anticipated, just didn't find the rhythm, and everybody else is driving as hard as they can down into the corner, and you just cannot get these cars stopped.
We've seen on a couple occasions so far tonight just small little mistakes causing some checkups, and as you mentioned, it's hard to avoid it. These guys all packed up on top of each other, not a lot of space to work with, and it can cause these accordion effects that we've seen and some wreckage to follow. Fortunately, though, these last few incidents haven't looked too severe, so everybody should be able to continue on. Beneficiary of this caution flag goes to the 7 car of Kyle Casagrande. He gets himself back on the lead lap, so now all 26 cars that continue to race around the half-mile Stafford Motor Speedway are on the lead lap. We are just beyond the halfway mark here. We're currently running around lap 45. We'll have 30 to go this time. I believe we'll see the white flag come out this time, and we should be able to go green next time by. So 45 are in, 30 laps remain. It has been Ryan Libby the entire way. I'll be interested to see what Kenny Kibbe can do on this restart here, Kevin. He's been very strong on the bottom side of the racetrack. Now he gets his shot at the front row. We've seen how difficult it's been to hang with the leader from that top lane. Let's see if Kenny has anything for Ryan here.
Yeah, and you're positive that John Peters has been watching what's going on. He sees that Libby gets a great launch and leaves the hole open on the bottom. But Kibbe knows that game, so hopefully Kibbe can stay pace. He'd like to see him go side by side into the corner and be able to pull down and get into second if he's not able to wrestle the lead away.
Back to green we go. Let's see what happens here into turn number 1. Ryan Libby with the clear advantage. Here comes John Peters underneath the 15. Peters couldn't quite get up to him through the center, but he does now, coming off at turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. Kibbe and Peters side by side, still going into turn number 3. Peters with the advantage. He's going to clear coming off at turn number 4 and move himself up to second. Kibbe falls in line in position number 3. Marhefka is in 4th, and then we're side by side with Wyatt Alexander and Corey Casagrande for 5th.
Casagrande is still trying to hang tough. They're side by side. The bottom line should have the advantage, but the 52 streaks around the outside. And Casagrande going to take that position as the 96 settles in. Wyatt Alexander now under pressure from the car behind.
Did have a car spin in the center of 3 and 4. That was the 14 of David Arute. He goes around again in turn number 4. He's down in the infield. We are still green. He is way off of the line, so we should be all right to stay racing here. Leaders coming around to that 14 machine. He stays down on the bottom of the racetrack, lets everybody go, and we have another spin on the front stretch. The 74 of Ryan Pasoko goes around. Single car spin, another spin in turn number 2. Not exactly sure who that is. I think that one's going to bring out the caution. It will. That's the 21 of Pete Yetman. He was right in the middle of the racetrack. Race officials try to keep green with those other spins. Had no choice right there. Caution comes out.
Yeah, there's really not much you can do when a car goes around and there's a little bit of contact. You're going to have to call that. And he was just stopped too long on the track and presented a hazard. So all kinds of action. You know, when he gets to 30 to go, everybody's got that right foot down and all the give is gone and the take is there wide open.
Yeah, these guys getting down. They know it's go time. They know they want to get to the finish. They want to. A lot of these Stafford guys, they want to win this race. And we're going to take a look right now at the 21 car. 21 car is what brought out the caution, and you can see. Actually, I don't see any contact there. It looks like a little bit of a checkout trying to get around the 14 of Root Machine, and just a bump there from the 49 car. Unfortunately, nowhere for him to go. Sends the 21 around, and you get a couple of love taps there. But again, no real big damage. Whoop, there's a car. I take that back. The 76 car's riding around with his roof up on his windshield, so that's no good. Gonna have to come down pit road and get that taken care of. But other than that, no big time damage from any of these drivers. Just kind of couple of spins. A little bit of calamity there all the way around the racetrack. Couple of self spins, single car spins, and all that in 3 and 4. And finally, we get the caution that comes out here with the number 21 car.
Now everybody's trying to figure out, how do I win this? If you're in the top 5, you're going to try and see if you can scheme your way through. We know the bottom line is the place to be. You want to be at least in 3rd position on this restart. No one has anything for Libby out front in the 46. And Libby's been on the same tires from the beginning, Kyle. Is that going to hurt him? Some of these, at least 3/4 of the field has been in to the pits at some point.
Was just looking at that myself, seeing some of these guys going into pit road for some tires. I think the preferred option here is going to be to keep that track position, and we'll have a quick opportunity here to see what Ryan's thinking in the booth here with Ryan. Ryan, you've been leading this entire race thus far. We're coming down to about 20 laps to go here. We're seeing some of these guys pit behind you. Is there any worry about that, or do you think you can hold them off?
Well, I haven't really been given, 100% with the car yet. I've been kind of like 75, 80%, trying to save just in case if this happened. Track position is huge tonight. So I just saw Peters and the other guy pit, and they're way back there, but they're going to have fresh tires. Hopefully we get more cautions, and the laps just keep ticking, and that's what I'm hoping and praying for right now.
Boy, if he hasn't been running 100% just yet, these guys might be in trouble once he does. Ryan, we're getting double up here. We wish you the best for these final 20. Go put on a show for us.
Thanks, guys.
So that's race leader Ryan Libby giving us a quick word before going back to green. Doubled up here. He's on the bottom side of the racetrack. 20 laps to go this time by. Time to get up on the wheel, Kevin. This should be good.
Libby and Kibby, the front row. Casagrande and Lewandowski in the second row. They come along and they're looking for that green flag, and they've got it. Good jump by the 15 of Kibby. He's going to be able to get out. Now they'll see whether the officials are going to call that. Way high in turn number 1. Gave it back. Gets a little nudge from the 0-1. And, what an opportunity he had there. But it's going to come back to naught. Caution flag is out, and he's got to be thinking through that restart.
Couple of cars getting stacked up, and they all slid around, and surprisingly, they ended up straightening it all back out, but the caution flag had to come out there as there was 3 or 4 cars that were all sorts of out of shape in the middle of the field. And quickly going back to yellow, that's exactly what Ryan Libby wanted to see there. More laps that he gets to complete under caution, and he doesn't have to worry about the fresher tires behind.
Earlier we heard Libby just say that he was taking care of his car. You can understand that if you're out front, it's easier to do. You get to pick and choose your line. And maybe we could go back and take a look at that restart. What a great start the 15 Kibby had. But he went down into turn number 1, and the car just went absolutely wild there, Kyle.
We thought for a moment there he was going to have some type of fight with Ryan Libby on the outside. We haven't seen the outside do anything just yet. And I think maybe he overcooked it just a little bit. He got a little bit too high going into the entry to turn number 1. Tried to come back down, made a little bit of contact there with Charles Lewandowski in the 0-1 machine. Fortunately, everybody was able to keep things going there. But definitely some strength being shown out of the 15. And now that's going to put Corey Casagrande on the outside of row number 1 for this restart.
Yeah, he was out by a car length almost. And he went in on the 3rd lane. I'm not sure why he went in so high, but that allowed the 0-1 to get to his quarter panel and get him sideways. He's lucky he didn't get turned around, but he's able to put himself back into 3rd. And we know that 3rd position right behind the leader has had a good run underneath 2nd. So maybe Kibby will be able to reclaim this as new second place car right now, Corey Casagrande, is in second with the 52. We'll have to see how his restart works out.
Seeing all kinds of love for Corey Casagrande in the Facebook chat right now. Mandy Fisher and Cindy Casagrande wishing Corey well here. Well, Corey's going to have an opportunity on the outside of row number 1 here on this ensuing restart. We're going to get it with less than 15 laps to go. We're working lap number 60 right now in the ChaLew Performance fall final 75 here at Stafford Motor Speedway. Just race number 3 here in this lengthy season for the New England, Pennsylvania Shift Marketing Design Grand National Series. Been a good one thus far. We've seen some good racing up at the front. It's been dominated by Ryan Libby. He's shown us how important restarts have been, how important that inside line has been. Field is now doubled up. 14 to go, and we go green. Libby on the inside. Corey Casagrande on the outside. Kenny Kibbe gets back to the inside. He's going to restart in position number 3. Then Charles Lewandowski and Evan Bollier will complete your top 5 for this restart.
Have to look at that first 2 cars on the inside lane. Both of them still no pit stops. Everybody else has been to pit road. We look back at John Peters running 11th right now with fresh tires. We have to see whether these cautions give him the opportunity to duck underneath each other. RPMs come up. Here they come down the front straightaway. Mash in the gas. Livy gets a good restart. And here comes Kibbe on the inside. Good hanging tough by the 52 of Casagrande to the outside. Ah, boy, look at that 46 roll the corner.
Corey Casagrande did what he could to hang on the right rear corner panel of Ryan Libby, but just was not able to do so. Now he's under attack once again by Kenny Kibbe. Kibbe and Casagrande side by side going into turn number 1. Give the advantage to Kibbe, but Casagrande building a little bit of momentum coming off at turn number 2. He's at the door now. Charles Lewandowski is going to look to the inside of the 52 machine. Caution flag will come out once again, and that is a huge bummer for Charles Lewandowski. He had a great run underneath the 52 going through 3 and 4, but that will be all for naught as Corey Casagrande will get to hang on as a benefit of the yellow. So taking a quick look through here.
They're causing the caution. Just contact coming out of the corner, got into the outside wall, and we'll come back and take a look at the replay. But, boy, they are elbows up, fenders banging out there in the back of the pack, just trying to scrape for any position they can get.
Yeah, you can see tough break for the number 81 machine. Hard contact, DJ Gerard on the outside wall there. We'll back it up one more time. We're going to take a look at it from the blimp view here. Not sure who sponsors the blimp at Stafford Motor Speedway, but we're going to take a look from their blimp view. You can see the 9 down on the apron. Seems to come up just, well, he hangs tight. Doesn't even look like there was any contact right there, as a matter of fact.
The other view did show a little contact. He nicked him in the left rear.
It might be one of those things that we call in the simulation world net code, which all these drivers are on different internet connections, so it might have been a little bit of a glitch in the matrix, as it were. But you see the 81's able to grab a gear, spin the tires in the grass, and get on going. So doesn't lose a lap. You can see the leader there, Ryan Libby, in the 46 machine coming up on him, but able to get back around the pace truck and stay on the lead lap. But you can bet we're going to be able to see him on pit road to fix some of that damage there as we take another caution here.
Not sure if you're able to grab it or not here, Paul, but after that happened with DJ Gerard, some contact and a vicious shot to the outside wall for the 22 of Devin Marhefka and the 26 of Brent Roy. We saw Marhefka at the front of the field early on in this race, took the opportunity to try some pit strategy, and the 26 of Roy got into the outside wall and then came down into the 22, and Marhefka caught that gate that's in turn number 1. You can see where it goes from the wall to that gate to open up to allow some traffic outside of the racetrack. He caught the end of that, and that whipped that 22 around hard.
Yeah, taking a look at it right now, you can see, oh yeah, it tears the front bumper right off that 22 machine. Holy moly. 26 looks like he retired from the race, as does the 22 car of Marhefka. Just nowhere for him to go at that point. Car didn't even want to go. So looks like that's going to be ending the night, the number 22 and the 26, Marhefka and Roy.
Yes,
so that's the risk that you take trying to make some pit strategy. You get marred in the back, and one small mistake will knock you out of your race. So very unfortunate for Devin Marhefka. He qualified in the, let's see here, he qualified in position number 4. He was second place in points coming into this one. So this is going to be a big blow to his points early on in this young season. So here we go. We're down to single digits left here, Kevin. 7 laps to go. Ryan Libby, Kenny Kibbe on the front row. Back to green flag racing we go.
As they wind up coming down the front straightaway, it's side by side for second. Libby out for a good start one more time. He's got these restarts set up to 52. Casagrande picks up. Everybody knows just a handful of laps now. It's like a short track shootout. You have got to make your move.
Ryan Libby loves seeing that side-by-side battle going on behind him. Now 3 wide a little bit. Oh, Michael Bennett's around. He got loose and overcorrected into the outside wall. A few other cars getting involved. The caution flag will fly once again. Another one of our front runners seeing some trouble late in this race. It is going to be very hard for him to recover from it. And I believe, guys, he just lost that one all on his own. He tried to make a 3 wide move coming off of turn number 4. Just got sideways and couldn't hang on.
You have to wonder with all the contact that these cars have had, some of them may have some damage or are going to impact the way the cars drive. Just nosed it in, got sideways, and tried to overcorrect, came back across the racetrack, collected a bunch of different cars. And the tail panel is flopping on the number 64. Hard hit also by the 0 car, came across, got tagged, went up hard into the outside wall for the first turn. And yeah, how about the strategy, Kyle, for our leader? Ryan Libby, he hit it right. He just wanted to be patient, be out front. Track position is everything. And he's got 4 to go. All he has to do is get clean from this restart breakaway like he has, and he may have this field covered from start to finish.
It has just been absolutely picture perfect for Ryan Libby tonight. He has mastered just about all of these restarts. He's had the preferred lane the entire time. Really, the winning move of the race could be before the race even started here, Kevin. He started on the pole, and that seems to be the biggest benefit of his race. He has not had to really worry about too many challenges. We've seen a couple guys hang with him on that outside line, but that top side is just not good enough right now to be able to allow anybody to find momentum and pull up and stay next to Ryan Libby in the 46 machine. Looking through here, I believe we're going to see a green-white checkered finish. We're working lap number 73 right now, so I will assume that we are going to get an extension here to go into a little bit of overtime to get this race finished under green. Indeed, we will. We will have one opportunity at that. So this will be the final restart no matter what happens here. So Ryan Libby has to be perfect just one more time to get this victory. But now you have to start to wonder. The guys throughout the field, they now know that this is their last opportunity. How aggressive does a Kenny Kibbe get lining up behind Ryan Libby on the inside line?
Yeah, if I'm Libby, I want to make sure I get away clean. Do not let anybody get to the back bumper and shove me out of the lane. That's the only way I'm going to lose this race, is win the race down into turn number 1, come out of turn number 2 the other side. If we look at our top 10, Libby, Casagrande, Kibbe, Belo, Lewandowski, Kopech, Osako, first time we're calling him up into that top 10. John Peters made his way to 8th. Brandon Newhouse running 9th, and Lucas Labonte is running 10th. All of these drivers hoping there's some sort of trouble and they get to shoot the gap, but it's really in the hands of Ryan Libby as they come down the backstretch getting ready for what may be the final restart of tonight's race.
So here we go. Pace truck ducks on the pit road once again. Ryan Libby trying to cap off a perfect night and go to victory lane here at Stafford Motor Speedway. Green flag is out, and we go back to racing. Green and white checker style. A couple extra laps to settle this one. Contact between your top 2. Libby and Casagrande make door-to-door contact. Libby will clear Casagrande. Can't quite clear Kenny Kibbe. Now he does. Corey Casagrande able to fall in line in position number 2. Kenny Kibbe right behind. White flag in the air for Ryan Libby.
Libby through turn number 1. We got one car with the hood up going down the front straightaway as they're single file. They're 3 wide for 5th position. High up in the outside, it's a 56, a 01 is side by side, but it's all Ryan Libby out of turn number 3 to turn 4. He's got 2 car lengths as he comes down the straightaway. Checkered flag, green to finish. Ryan Libby is your winner here tonight.
Ryan Libby scores the perfect victory in the ChaLew Performance Fall Final 75 here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. His first win of this season. He gets it over second place finisher Corey Casagrande. Kenny Kibbe will finish in third. Charles Lewandowski fourth. And Dylan Kopech will finish this one in position number 5. Ryan Posocco, we saw him in an earlier incident. He recovers from that, started all the way back in 23rd. He comes home with a 6th place finish. Evan Bullier 7th. John Peters in 8th. Brandon Newhouse 9th. And Lucas Labani will complete your top 10 finishers. So we'll take a quick moment here to catch our breath, get things in order for our post-race show. Ryan Libby leads the entirety of the ChaLew Performance Fall Final 75. We'll hear from him and our top 3 finishers after this quick break.
Have you seen my kick-ass subscription box anywhere? Oh, there it is.
Welcome back to the Stafford Motor Speedway. We just completed the ChaLew Performance Fall Final 75, the third race of the season for the New England, Pennsylvania Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series. It was a picture-perfect race for our pole sitter, Ryan Libby. Ryan, you did exactly what you wanted to do. You had everything go the exact way you wanted it to in those final stages. Kind of had some things filled up with caution laps there, but you were just so money on the restarts tonight. Talk about how important that was to your success.
Yeah, restarts were key. I knew there's really not a big outside lane unless you had fresh tires. And I kind of paid attention who was pitting. I saw when Charles pit, when Corey pit. And mainly since we're all even on the restarts, we had to go on green. I knew you couldn't have a bad restart. If you had a bad restart and the guy on the outside got by you, that means you're either starting on the outside or you're behind someone. And track position was key tonight. Tire management, track position. I actually planned on pitting, but just the way how the cautions were falling, and I knew if I could just give my car like 80% and just stay up front and not actually run away with it and burn the right rear tires off of it, I might have a shot at the end for it.
We did see on one of those restarts in the late going, Kenny Kibbe got up to the outside, and really it looked like he may have actually had a better restart than you did and almost led you going into turn number 1 before a slight mistake allowed you to take back over the lead. Was there anything that you were able to learn there off of that specific restart that helped prevent that from happening in the final stages?
Yeah, not to shift in 5th gear instead of 3rd gear in a restart. I guess I shifted a little too far to the right and actually went into 5th instead of 3rd, and there's no 5th gear in these cars. So I learned that really quick on that restart, and I made sure not to make that mistake again.
Ryan, you have some experience at the Stafford Motor Speedway in real life, driving quarter midgets, micro sprints, and late models. As a driver that has seen this racetrack both in sim and in real life, is there any transfer over between the two? Was there anything that your real life experience at this racetrack did to help you be so successful here tonight?
Yeah, back when I ran the late models, I ran with Ryan Pisacco there back in like 2006, 2005. And the cars were really loose in, sometimes loose in the center, but it was drive off. I knew if you could keep the car underneath you and making the car drive off well, you're going to have tires at the end and the car is going to handle at the end. If you're just going to spin the right rear tires, you're going to push the nose, you're going to heat the right front up, you're going to heat the right rear. Just like in real life, that tire eventually will go away. And you're definitely going to lose drive off, lose your center, lose your entry, and so on.
Well, Ryan, you sure put all that to good use tonight. You made it look easy. You had some things you had to work for, but either way, it was a flawless performance. Who would you like to thank for the picture-perfect victory here tonight?
I'd just like to thank ChaLew Performance for sponsoring the event. Vidane TV, you guys do an awesome broadcast. I always watch the race at the very end. And thank Corey Casagrande, NEPS Shift, everyone that puts this league on. It's probably the most favorite league I've ever run. It's very well organized, very well broadcasted. And I'd like to give a shout out to Corey Casagrande for running me clean, and Kenny Kibbe for running me clean. This track, it's really tight, and there is going to be contact, and I just appreciate not getting hit on the last lap and all that. But thanks, guys.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of tonight's ChaLew Performance Fall Final 75 at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Race number 3 for the New England, Pennsylvania Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series, and we see our third different winner. It is the 46 machine of Ryan Libby. We'll send things on over to Kevin, who is now caught up with our second place finisher, driver of the number 52, Corey Casagrande.
Yeah, I'm going to walk up here and interrupt you. Hey, Corey, take a moment and speak with us. Corey, man, great run tonight. As you sit here, you're probably replaying that. How do you think you could have played it any different to see if you can get yourself to win?
Oh, man, I don't know. I just I wish I could have hit my restarts a little better when I was on the outside of Ryan. I think if I could have just got a little bit of a nose on him getting into the turn one, it would have helped me out. I had a little bit fresher tires. I was pretty nervous there at the beginning. It was only me and a couple other guys that pitted early. We really needed a long green flag run after we pit, but it just never happened. So Ryan and those guys could burn up their stuff, but it just didn't happen. And they did a good job saving their tires. Ryan hit his shifts. Besides that one, I was in third behind him when he went into fifth, and screwed me up a little bit too. But he hit everyone after that perfect, and I just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, sometimes the opportunity just doesn't present, but you got to be there every restart looking for that hole. And second place after the stout field comes through, that's not a bad night's work for you. It looked like the car was a handful. How did the car drive tonight?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, I was driving it in really deep. After I put the stickers on, I really wanted to get the most out of them. But by the time I was in the top three, I probably used most of them up. I'm glad I didn't let Charles get underneath me. He had one shot underneath me, and I kind of blocked him going down the front stretch, and he had no choice but to lift. So, because he would have been pretty tough if he got up in the top three too. So, but fun racing, love racing with these guys. It's fun, and kind of a lot of cautions, but it wasn't too bad, I guess. Hopefully the race was good for you guys.
We enjoyed it sitting up here. Were you aware that Ryan and Kenny did not pit for tires?
Yeah, I was. I was kind of keeping tabs as we were racing there. I could every caution I could see who was pitting. Because we were the first ones to pit, so I was paying attention to who came down pit road every caution, and I was grinning pretty good when I was in third and saw those two guys in front of me that didn't pit yet, but they hung on pretty good. That's impressive.
Yeah, no doubt the opportunities were on the restarts for sure. Well, you pitted, you came back through the field, you gave it the best shot you could, came home second place, not too shabby of a night. Anybody want to say hello to or give a shout out to on the broadcast?
Oh yeah, shout out to my girlfriend. I'm not sure she likes watching this, but she watches every week. So That's cool. And John Peters, showed up to the half mile track and couldn't get it done. It is what it is. But
Pre-race conversation.
dead serious. I think this is the first race in NEP history that I beat John. So I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah, John ended up 8th. Well, Corey and Corey's girlfriend, thanks for participating and thanks for watching. And we'll turn it over to Kyle. He's caught up with your third place driver, Kenny Kibbe.
Yeah, down here with the 15 machine of Kenny Kibbe. Kenny, man, you put on a great show for us tonight. You were very competitive. Looked like you were trying your best to contend with Ryan Libby for the race lead. Had a great battle throughout the majority of that with Corey Casagrande, the two of you flip-flopping the second position throughout most of that race. What was it like from inside the car tonight?
Well, it was just like the other guys were saying, trying to master the restarts. That ended up being the name of the game. We didn't really get any long green flag runs, which I was hoping for right from the get-go. I was trying to save my stuff. But yeah, really tight racing, really hard to pass. Tires were good for a couple laps, and then they kind of seemed to fall off. And at the end there, when it got to the point where Ryan and I kind of made our beds with our strategy, and I was kind of just trying to hang on, but I knew I had a few laps where the tires were going to be good enough to fight, and I was really happy that I was able to hang on and stay in the top 5.
We saw you at one point during this race get off to a fantastic restart and actually led Ryan Libby going into turn number 1. But it seems like you may have made a bit of a mistake, kind of overshot the entry there and sacrificed that opportunity. What happened there on that restart?
I really didn't overshoot it. I left the lane open because I knew, at least from my perspective, I thought that it was going to be really close for me to clear Ryan, and I just didn't want one of those situations where he goes into the corner and I'm cut down in front of him and he hits me and I spin or we all wreck or something like that. I was hoping that I'd be able to have another opportunity at it. So yeah, just because I didn't know how close it was going into turn 1, I didn't want to cut down in front of him.
Kenny, we're going to have a 2.5-week break before we see this series go back into action, and it will be the first of a few road course events at the Lime Rock Park. What kind of a road racer are you? Is this something that you're looking forward to, or something that you're really going to have to put some time into to get it better to get through?
I'm looking forward to it. I run quite a few road racing events. I run all the special endurance races every year on iRacing. And we ran a practice race earlier in the year here at Lime Rock, or there at Lime Rock, and I won that. So I'm actually going to be pretty confident going into that.
Well, Kenny, it sure was fun to watch you compete here tonight. Great run for you. Who would you like to thank on your performance?
Well, first NEP Shift, ChaLew Performance, Corey Casagrande and Zane Farrell for putting this league together and running it, and just letting me race with these guys. And most of these guys are real racers or connected to the sport in a real sense, and I'm just a really big race fan, and just kind of met some of these guys and became friends with them, and they kind of they let me race with them now. So it's pretty cool, and I'm really proud that with all these guys having real life experience at this track, that it looks like I was the highest placed of the guys who haven't had experience here. So it's a really fun racing with these guys, and these guys are awesome people too to hang out with. So thanks to all of them and my friends and family who like to watch the races as well.
So there's your third place finisher, Kenny Kibbe, and he said he was looking forward to that road race coming up here in a couple of weeks. Just to give you guys a little bit of information to kind of prepare yourselves for it in case you're looking for some early fantasy picks or maybe even an early bet. I know that this league does some betting. Kenny Kibbe, 2019 iRacing Bathurst 12-hour winner, and he won the iRacing Daytona 24-hour winner this year. So that could very well be a race that goes up Kenny's alley for sure. Kevin, what did you think tonight? We'll get your final thoughts here. A great performance out of Ryan Libby tonight. We saw a very competitive race, very hard-nosed battle up at the front of the field, but he was just too strong to be denied tonight.
Yeah, no doubt. As we look through the field, you could see a lot of drivers had good runs, and some didn't make it through, but they gave it their all. We'll do a field rundown here. Ryan Libby, Corey Casagrande, Kenny Kibbe, your top three, as you just heard: Charles Lewandowski, Dylan Kopic, Ryan Pasoko, Evan Ballou, John Peters, Brandon Uhouse, and Lucas Labonte, finishing in 10th in the 47. 11th place goes to the 9 of Jason Ricker. Pete Yetman in the 21 finished 12th. 13th, Anthony Leo. Scott McDonald in the 44 finished 14th. 15th went to the 76 of Matt Kenfield. DJ Gerard finishes 16th in the 81. David Arute, after his troubles, came home 17th tonight in the 14:55 of Jeffrey Brown. 18th, Michael Bennett, 19th in the number 64. And the 20th position goes to the 96 of Wyatt Alexander. Matt Chinoski finishes 21st in the 16. Kyle Casagrande in the 7, 22nd. Michael Hopkins in the 78, 23rd. 24th, Zane Farrell. Brett Roy in the 26th, 25th. Devin Marapka in the 26th, followed by Brendan Marapka in the 27th position. The number 27, Justin Williams, finishes 28th to cap off the field. Kyle, my thought is, I'm just reflecting on that comment about, could you imagine being able to sign in online and race with the guys that you go and watch at your local track? That has to be a thrill. And for these guys to come out on a Monday night and just have a blast racing, it costs a lot of money to race. Following our race team, I know that. Tires, fuel, all those things, transportation costs, pit costs, food, and all that. But here you just sign in at night and you get a very similar experience racing your buddies. And it's just got to be a blast to be able to do this.
It really was a good point to hear Kenny Kibbe there mention. He was, I guess, the best of the sim racers, for what you could call it. Getting to compete with some of the guys that have had successful runs and a lot of good experience at this racetrack in real life. So that you could definitely tell that it boosted his confidence, made him feel really good about his performance tonight. And then he's definitely going to be one of the guys that's going to be looking forward to our next race with this series in 2.5 weeks on the 22nd at Lime Rock Park. He's experienced in road course racing. He's obviously competitive with this group. We saw that tonight. You put those two things together, and Kenny Kibbe could be an early favorite for that race. Of course, lots of time between now and then. There's plenty of opportunity for the rest of the field to kind of catch up to Kenny, potentially, and contend with him for that win. But it should put on a great race nonetheless. And although we have a 2.5 week break with the New England, Pennsylvania Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series here on Vidane TV, that does not mean that us at Vidane TV are going to be gone that long. Paul, we've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. I know we just started up a new relationship on Thursday. We've got some awesome stuff coming up here, not only just this week, but in the coming weeks too.
For sure, Vidane TV. We had a little bit of an off season there in the summer. We started up there in March and hit it real heavy with the COVID-19 virus and all that nonsensical stuff. But man, we hit it hard. We kind of took a little bit of a break, and here we are getting ready for the kind of the fall and winter seasons, as sim racers like to call it. You're taking a look at the upcoming events there on your screen for Vidane TV. Check out the schedule in its entirety at vidane.net. Then click on the Vidane TV link for the schedule. You can see tomorrow night the RBR Maritime Group. They're going to be making their debut on Vidane TV for the Apex Tire 125 at 8 o'clock Eastern tomorrow. Thursday night, we're going to have the Sim 500 boys. They're going to be back for race number 2 in their season, the Kick-Ass Jerky Classic Cup Series, the Michigan 150. And then you see we jump into the next week. We've got the RBR Maritime Group for the Sander Sidens 125. And oh, by the way, NEPS is actually back next Wednesday night for the Better Half Dash 2. Now, Kevin, you may have missed the first one. Kyle, I know you were there for it. Lots of fun that's going to be. Basically, the girlfriends, the wives, the significant others, the better halves, if you will, of all these drivers that run in the NEPS League, they're going to be racing. The women are going to be racing in that series, and they put on a blast of a show last time. And as you made mention, it's going to be at Dover Speedway this time around, so that's going to be pretty cool. And then right after that, we've got the Talladega 175 for Sim 500. Skipping ahead just a little bit, we've got the, if you're a member of Tim's Corner Motorsports, well, if not, you should be, but if you are, you got the email today from Tim Terry himself, race director. The Super Late Model 300 is going to be November 20th, and we're going to have a week-long qualifying session for that. So be sure to check out Tim's Corner Motorsports on Facebook to get all the details for that. But, man, great race here for the ChaLew Fall Final 75. It kind of sucks that we're not able to hang out at the racetrack and do the 3-day camping thing where everybody kind of hangs out after the fact, after the races. But one thing to be sure, that one tradition I'm not going to let go by myself, after the racing gets done at the Fall Final, you crack open a couple of cold boys. So we're going to hang out here. Thank you guys so much for having us in your homes this evening, in your living rooms, your bedrooms, wherever you may have watched us. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Vidane TV. Check us out on YouTube. If you've got a smart TV, definitely check out the YouTube app. Search for Vidane TV for a high-quality 1080p, 60 frame per second stream. And also check us out on Twitch, twitch.tv/Vidane Racing TV. But for myself, I am Showtime Paul Strickland Jr., Kevin England, Kyle Young, and the drivers here at the New England, Pennsylvania, easy enough for me to say, New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Series. Thank you guys so much for coming out. We hope this broadcast made it to you in good health. And if not, well, we hope it gets you get better real soon. Thank you guys so much for coming out. We will catch you on the flip side. Have a great night.